Less than a month away. That's how close we are to the November 8th general election. Look at the calendar. It's October 10th. That means less than a month. We'll have the polls close. And then we, of course, have to wait for the mail-in ballots to trickle in up to 2 weeks. So who knows what the final outcome will be, if we'll know it come election night, but that's another story for another day. But there's lots of choices for you. Everything from who's going to be the next U.S. senator, who's going to be your member of Congress, who's going to be the next governor, comptroller, treasurer, secretary of state, attorney general, and even who's going to represent you at the Illinois Statehouse. And joining us in studio is Lisa Smith. She is a Republican running for the State House of Representatives. And Lisa, you know the district better than I do, so how about you just kind of give us an idea of the boundaries of this district you're looking to get elected for?
Well, we know that they redistricted this year, and so they cut my district down quite a bit. It really just encompasses the center of Springfield, most of Decatur, the west end of Decatur, and there's a strip of land between Decatur and Springfield that runs south of 72. It gets up a little bit into the western end of Mechanicsburg and the countryside up there, but there's not a lot of towns in between Decatur and Springfield that it encompasses. So
what are you hearing most from the constituents you do talk to? And important to note, the district also has incumbent Democratic State Representative Sue Shearer there. She's been there for several terms. What are you hearing most from constituents in this election?
Well, a lot of times I hear, why should I vote? I don't know if my vote's going to count. They're really concerned about voter integrity and when you got 6 weeks to vote, and then like you said, it's going to take how long till we find out who really won?
Up to 2 weeks.
People are upset about that. People don't like that. They think it's wrong and they want it changed. Also, they know our state is in trouble. They know the state is ran very poorly. They know things are awful. They know Illinois is ranked really low on everything. I mean, who wants to move here? Businesses are leaving. People know this. They're hurting. Taxes are high. So they're frustrated with that, and they want it changed. They're looking for somebody to change it. They're hoping that the people that are coming out, the Republicans are the ones that are out there for change. And they're hoping that they'll do what they say they're going to do. And if their vote counts, they say, they really hope there'll be a change in Illinois.
We're talking with Lisa Smith. She is a Republican vying for the Illinois State House against Democratic incumbent Sue Shearer. And I have reached out multiple times to talk with Representative Shearer on air in a similar format, but we have yet to hear back. And I'll continue to try to do that so that we can give our listeners the entire scope of who's on the ballot for this particular district. Lisa, you talked about how Illinois is poorly ranked compared to other states for a whole host of things. I mean, you look at the gas tax, highest in the Midwest, second highest in the country. You look at bond rating, lowest across the country when it comes to our credit rating as a state of Illinois. We've got some of the highest unemployment in the region, higher than the national average. Our pension debt as well is among the worst. I mean, you just go down and down the list here. But another one that I think is really important to families is education.
Yes.
And that's something that you look at since the pandemic. Things have actually gotten worse in the state.
Yes,
of Illinois.
they have. When our governor shut down our schools and everything, and the kids were trying to learn online, that didn't work. That was an abysmal failure. Which what it did was it took away those years that those kids should have been in school. We know that the Wall Street Journal just came out with an article that specifically cited Decatur, Illinois, saying that young black children, only 1% can read at the grade level that they're supposed to be reading at. We have an educator for our representative who touts that she is an educator, touts that she's been on the education committees over at the State House. She's done nothing. She's done nothing to protect our kids. She's done nothing to better our education system. She's worthless when it comes to the education system. I don't know how she even can stand up and say anything about her education background because it would be humiliating.
What different would you bring to the table?
Well, we need school choice. We need school choice, and we need it now. What does school choice do? It gives the money to the families for the kids that follows them to the school that they want their child to go to in that district. So if you want your child to go to the Lutheran school or any of the charter schools or whatever instead of the regular public school, you're able to do that. And we know that affects mainly lower income and minorities because they are stuck in the public school system most of the time. And the argument would be, well, you're going to pull money out of the public school system. Why would I want to put my money into the public school system if the public school system is failing? They continue to say, let's fund. Let's give all of our money to these public school systems or these government-ran programs that fail our children. And why would I want to do that? Why would I want to give them my money? And why should I give them my money? Because they are not doing their job.
And schools are a major driver of property taxes, which we've seen in Illinois. We're also second highest in the country for property taxes. So that's something else that works into that equation overall. But what do you say to, like the teachers' unions who push back against the idea of school choice because they claim that would hurt public schools and not everybody's going to be able to go to a school of their choice? Well,
so whenever you could... That is a losing argument because why would they even want to have money funded into a school system where they are not able to teach the kids properly? What if we have school choice and we have competition between schools? Those teachers could move to other schools too. We could have a school system where maybe your class size was 20 instead of 30, where you could actually do the job of teaching that you want to do, where maybe we could offer different types of classes for different types of kids that learn differently, that we could have, a vast array of choices, not just for children and families, but for teachers. I mean, this might be a great opportunity for teachers to actually, if they enjoy and love teaching, to have a classroom that is manageable, where they could teach kids the things they want without being overloaded with, 10% of the kids that have learning disabilities or whatever. We could fit those kids into classrooms that teach them better. This is all a win-win for everybody. I really don't understand why, except they want to keep their union control. That's the thing I'm looking at is teachers' unions. They don't want their teachers moving into these private schools or these other areas where they may not belong to the union. And then they're not going to get their money, and they're not going to have their control.
Lisa Smith with us. A couple of other issues that are definitely top of mind for people. Of course, the SAFETY Act. Even Governor J.B. Pritzker is recognizing that there needs to be some changes. Do there need to be changes, or should this thing just be repealed and they start over from scratch?
Yeah, well, so it is very incompetent of our lawmakers to have put forth a bill that has language in it that even the police are saying, why did you word something that way? This is something we cannot do. This is something you did not fund. These are expectations that are too broad. We need to bring it down without any, they didn't have any police and things come in and help word it, and the police know that's obvious. So now they're having to backtrack. And they're having to add in and repeal, or not, I don't want to say repeal, but they're having to change some of the wording on a lot of this. And, now they've pulled in some of the police to say, here's how it should be worded. When you're saying this in the bill, we can't do that because this is what's going to happen. Unintended consequences that they didn't even look at. I think it was a poor judgment on the Democrats. They rushed this through at 3 o'clock in the morning. They threw this 700 or 800 bill onto the desks of everybody. They had 1 hour to look at it and pass it. And Sue Shear, my opponent, said yes to this bill. So she has kind of betrayed her police in her area. She's betrayed her citizenry because at this point we're going to have a lot of criminals being released on January 1st into the communities or not being held whenever they do violent crimes or crimes that, they could go right out and do them again because there's no cash bail. So you're going to not be able to keep these people in jail, for the safety of the community. So it was very, I think We've got a legislature that had gone rogue a little bit and did not think about the consequences of what they were doing.
Lisa Smith with us. Again, she's the Republican running for the Illinois Statehouse against Democratic incumbent State Representative Sue Shearer. One other issue here, just briefly, Amendment 1. It's the amendment to codify collective bargaining in the Illinois state constitution. That's going to be a question for voters across the state. It will take 3/5 of those who vote for it to be approved, or a simple majority of all votes cast if they cast a vote for the Amendment 1. Your take on this? Is this necessary?
No, it's not. The federal laws are on the books that protect workers and their rights and their collective bargaining rights. We should never amend our Constitution to protect a special interest organization, which what this is doing. It's giving special rights to unions, and the rights that they're going to have will supersede what government can do. So they're really going to have power over their government. And when you have this, then how is the government supposed to rein in things that are being done? And one of the things it even says, so they can even do things like say, we want a housing allowance for our teachers, which is what the teachers union in Chicago tried to do not too long ago, was they wanted to get extra money for each teacher to have a housing money. They could do that and say, this is for our workers, and the government would have no say-so in that. They'd have to pass it or they're going to strike. And it's strong-arming our government and giving them special control over our legislature. And no special interest group should have that kind of control over our government.
So I take it you'll be voting no.
I will be voting no, and
1.
I'm getting out there and telling people to vote no. We're talking about an amendment to our Constitution, people. This has to be something more than just union rights. It needs to be, that should not be something that we're voting yes on.
Lisa Smith, again, candidate for the Illinois Statehouse against the Democratic incumbent Sue Shearer. Lisa, if people want more information about your candidacy, where can they find it?
SmithforIllinoisHouse.com, and I'm on Facebook at Lisa Smith for State Representative.
Greatly appreciate your time, and I imagine we may talk again before November 8th, which, believe it or not, it is less than a month away for the midterm general election. Greatly appreciate your time this morning.
That'd be great. Thank you.
It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop.